I know that in your early days, and when you went to boarding school and all that, this had a special meaning for you, this particular spot, didn't it?
Mm-hmm. When you're very young, it's very hard to assess when you're near home, but this was always the landmark for me, that I was just around the corner from home. It's special here, and it's so peaceful, and it's the only place where I can actually come back to that I just forget about work. And that's really important, as you know yourself.
Do you feel that your music sort of reeks of this kind of thing?
This would have influenced me, definitely. Yes, with my childhood there was so much music happening around me, and that has a great influence on me. And it's, you know, to my parents, my grandparents, they were involved in music. It was all Gaelic I spoke until I went to school, which was around 3 or 4. And then I would have learned how to speak English. But that's all I heard, because around here they only speak Gaelic. Well, it's basically written in a lament form. It's Ohon is Ohono, which is crying. And it's really crying on the loss of my youth. And it's gone forever, and it's basically talking about the happy memories I had of my childhood. This is Maharagarlan. To translate that, it would have meant the sheltered plain.
And you spent a lot of time here when you were a child. I've been looking for your sandcastles, but they're all gone. You spent a lot of time playing here on Sundays, I suppose. You would come here with your parents, would you?
Well, this was like in the summertime. We used to come down here early in the morning and spend all day here, the family. And we'd leave here about 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the evening. And it was just exploring all around here. It was just great fun. Seems to be to a lot of people, they want to conjure up their own emotions and their own imagery with the music. The love I've had for voices, choral work, Gregorian chant, it's fascinating the way the voices can swell in and out. It's just wonderful, you know. It's like the voice can be used as an instrument. You know, you can sing solo, but also it's just when you put layer upon layer of vocals like we work with it, it's just a blend. You don't really hear that this is 100 voices or 200 voices recorded. It's just an overall beautiful sound. The Maharagarlan graveyard is just right beside here, and in the line of the song, the loss of comfort gone before is referring to them, because the beach attracts me to it. I love it. It makes me very happy. But now with my grandparents resting there, there's an element of sadness involved with being so happy to be back here. I mean, this is what the song is about. It's about Maharagarlan standing on this beach, and it's a great opportunity to be here and to sing the song.
It has been said that her music plays like the soundtrack to somebody's dream. The hypnotic harmonies of the Irish singer-songwriter named Enya has sold some 20 million records. Surprising to be sure, given the high decibel sound that seems to dominate today's music charts. And it takes years in the studio to actually record her ethereal wall of sound albums. And now she is back with her first in 4 years. It is called The Memory of Trees. And Enya joined us several years ago, I think about 4 years ago, for her very first network interview. And we are delighted that she's back here this morning. You don't do a lot of interviews. First of all, it's called Memory of Trees.
The Memory of Trees.
What is that for? What does it mean?
It's actually derived from Irish mythology, and it was suggested by my lyricist Roma Ryan. And we were looking for a title and something that would show what the album was about. And when she suggested The Memory of Trees, the story behind it is the Druids in Ireland at one time held the trees as very sacred. And to me, it was a very strong title.
And you grew up in Ireland. You still live in Ireland. You
yes,
grew
I
up
do.
Speaking Gaelic, is that correct?
Yes, in the northwest of Ireland, in County Donegal, in a small area called Gweedore. They still speak Gaelic there.
And a lot, I mean, I read that your dad, I think, led a dance band, your mom taught music. I mean, your whole family's into music, but yeah. How is this album? Is it different than the last one, or?
Well, for me, I feel I've continued where I finished off with Shepherd Moons. And I just like to explore as much as I can. And again, I work with the same two people, with Mickey Ryan, the producer, and Roma Ryan. And we tend to just, in the studio, just go what feels right.
Have you ever kept track? Do you know how many times, the most times you ever overdubbed your own voice?
Well, once I counted 500.
500?
Vocals, yeah.
You have unbelievable patience.
But it's something that I enjoy tremendously. I don't think you could do it if you didn't enjoy it, because each time it's as exciting as the first time.
And you write the melodies, and you play all the
Yes,
instruments?
yes, I do.
You play all of them?
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's interesting because we talked before. I remember the last time I asked you if you were going to go on tour, but and if you did, how would you transfer that process that you do in the studio to get the sound to the stage? But you think you could do it? Well, some people think it's difficult because it's one person in the studio, but the way I perform in the studio is very much a live feel, performance-wise. So would you like to do it? I mean, because I know you're a very private person. No, with the music, I'm not so private. I love to perform music, so I would love to be on stage with this music. She's one act that doesn't really have to go out on tour to sell the records they sell anyway, but this is interesting. It's called Memory of Trees. Nice to see you again.
Nice to be back.
Thanks for visiting once again to Good Morning America. We'll be back.
Enya, I just love your music. It's so beautiful and soothing and spiritual and great.
Thank you very much.
And I remember when I heard it Far and Away, you scored that movie.
It was the end song that was written for Ron Howard for that movie.
With the horses and everything. It was beautiful. Are you going to do a lot of more work with films and that scoring?
Well, I actually began with soundtrack. Firstly, I worked with David Putnam on a small movie called The Frog Prince, and then I worked with the BBC on The Celts. So it was new to me to actually go and do a solo album.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it's something I still enjoy, and I hope to still kind of work with soundtrack, incorporating that with.
Do you find that easier because you get sort of an inspiration from the film?
It's very different work, but it's quite different, and I enjoy the challenge both ways. But it's not easier either way, whether it's a solo album or for soundtrack.
Right. You know, this is a best of CD, Paint the Sky with Stars, so it's got all the hits that we love. Gets you right in that mood. So you're from Ireland.
Yes.
And Enya is an Irish name? I never heard it before you.
Enya, where I was born was in the Gaeltacht area in County Donegal, and Gaelic is my first language. So Enya is Gaelic, but there's a story behind it. There's a goddess in Irish mythology that was known as Enya.
And what was the myth about her?
Oh, it wasn't so pleasant, but it was...
Was it like she had a beautiful spiritual voice and then you...
No, it was actually, she was not to marry because it was destined that her husband would eventually kill her father. So her father sent her away to this remote island, but alas, she met somebody, and it happened that it wasn't like he intended to kill the father, but through battle or whatever, the father was killed by her husband.
Did your father name you?
No, it was my grandfather, actually.
All right, good enough, because I would have thought that's a lot of therapy bills there, right there, you know. You're from a big family, though. You're one of 9 kids.
I have 4 brothers and 4 sisters.
Do you like? I think that's a great thing. Do you like that?
Oh, yeah. A
lot of people, they either think that's the most frightening thing or the best thing in the world.
Yeah.
And there was sort of the older kids and the younger kids?
Yeah.
What number were you?
Well, I was the younger kids.
You were in the younger?
Yeah.
Were you the baby?
No, there was 3 younger than me, actually.
So you were lucky, because by the time that you guys came around, your parents were fed up. You got to do whatever you wanted, right?
Yeah, not like the older ones.
No.
It was stricter for them.
Did you go to Catholic school over there?
Yes.
You did? Did you get beat up by the nuns?
I went to boarding school.
Went to boarding school? Oh, my goodness.
Yes. 5 years, and I enjoyed it.
You did? And how often do you get to go home when you're at a boarding school?
It was like Halloween, Christmas, Easter.
How old were you?
I was 11.
Oh, was it hard?
No, it wasn't, because I found, with coming from a big family, that I was kind of, it was like very protected with the family, and a lot of people making decisions for me. So when I went to boarding school, I kind of became very independent, and I enjoy that.
Really?
Yeah.
I always think of it as like torture boarding school.
I think you either like it or you don't.
Right. You never ran away or...
No.
You never like stole the nuns' habits. And... You got to hang out with me more, Enya. I'm going to teach you how to get in trouble. I can tell by your music. You're a do-gooder. You're a nice girl. You never did nothing wrong. Let's go drink beer and get wasted.
Guinness.
Come on, let's go, Enya! You can see, tomorrow on Hard Copy, me and you at the bar. I've been no Land Rover for many years.
So long as it's Guinness.
Yeah.
Has to be Guinness.
Guinness is like a meal in itself.
Do you like Guinness?
I can drink it, but I don't love it. I like
kind
an
of bitter.
ambery beer, you know? Like a Sam Adams, I can enjoy that. You like the Sam Adams?
No.
You only go for Guinness.
No, I actually don't drink Guinness.
You don't drink Guinness?
No. I think everybody assumes you're from Ireland. You must drink Guinness.
Right.
It's like, not everybody does.
You don't. Well, we can learn.
I know.
The two of us. We got a weekend coming up. What do you say? All right? Saturday night, you and me, the bowling alley. Come on, Enya! Come on! We'll be singing Kevin Barry by the time the night's over. Listen, it's delightful to have you here. I really love your music, and thank you so much for being on the show. I really appreciate it. Page the Sky with Stars is the new CD. Please go buy it. We'll be right back after this break. Don't go away.